Chapter 1.
In the street, the chaos was indescribable. Dented cars, noisy trucks, and smoking buses jostled for space on the filthy asphalt, which trembled under the growls of engines and the blare of horns. The acrid smell of burnt diesel filled the hot late morning air, and a thick haze of pollution clung to the dilapidated buildings. There was something tragically decadent about this old city, desperately trying to grasp the future while clinging to the worst aspects of modernity. Indecisive about which path to take, the man with brown hair and light green eyes paused at the museum's staircase, weighing his options. In front of him stretched Tahrir Square, teeming with a chaotic traffic jam of moving wrecks. That route was out of the question. He glanced to his left. One option was to head down Qasr El Nil to groupies for pastries and tea, but he was too hungry for mere snacks. The other choice was to turn right and follow El Nil Corniche, where the splendid hotel of the same name stood, offering excellent restaurants and a breathtaking view of the river and the pyramids.
Is it your first time in Al Qahira?
The man with green eyes turned his head, looking for the female voice that had called out to him.
Excuse me?
Is it your first time in Cairo?
A tall woman with long black hair approached, coming out of the museum with a charming smile. She had intriguing golden brown eyes, sensual red lips, discreet ruby earrings, a fitted gray suit, and high heels that accentuated her perfect curves. An oriental beauty.
No. I've been here several times.
My name is Ariana Pakravan. Pleasure to meet you.
Likewise.
Aren't you going to tell me your name?
Oh, sorry. I'm Tomas. Tomas Noronha.
How do you do, Thomas?
Tomas. The emphasis is on the A. Tomas.
Tomas.
That's right. Arabs always have a bit of trouble pronouncing my name, even though I didn't know Ariana was an Arabic name, and you have a great accent, by the way.
And who told you I was of Arabic origin?
Aren't you?
Actually, no. I'm Iranian.
Oh, I didn't know Iranian women were so beautiful.
You are very kind.
Sorry, I couldn't help it.
Don't be embarrassed. Marco Polo said the most beautiful women in the world were from Iran. Besides, what woman doesn't like to hear a compliment?
But your outfit is very modern. Coming from Iran, the land of the Ayatollahs, that's rather surprising.
Well, I'm a bit of a special case. Are you hungry by any chance?
Hungry? My goodness, I could eat a horse.
Then come with me. I'll take you for some local specialties.
The taxi headed towards Islamic Cairo to the east of the city. As the car navigated through the Egyptian capital, the wide avenues of the lower city gave way to a maze of narrow streets, buzzing with life. The scene was a vibrant tapestry of carts and donkeys, pedestrians in galabayas, street vendors, bicycles, and men waving papyrus. Stalls sold tamia, while shops offered brass, copper, and leather goods. Merchants displayed carpets, fabrics, and freshly minted antiques. Terraces were filled with patrons smoking shishas, and eateries filled the air with the rich aromas of frying, saffron, turmeric, and chili. The taxi dropped them off at the entrance of a restaurant on Hussein Square, a serene spot shaded by an elegant minaret. Abu Hussein appeared more westernized than the majority of Egyptian restaurants. Each table was adorned with immaculately white tablecloths, and notably in this city, the air conditioning was in full swing, filling the restaurant with a soothing coolness. They sat by the window, the Sayyidina Al-Hussein Mosque clearly visible across the way. A waiter in a white uniform approached, carrying 2 menus, and handed each of them one. Thomas looked at it and shook his head.
I don't understand anything on this menu.
Ariana peered at him over the top of hers.
What would you like to eat?
Choose for me. I trust your judgment.
Are you sure?
Absolutely.
Suddenly, a melancholic voice pierced the air. It was the muezzin from the tall minaret, calling the faithful to prayer with the adhan. The melodious chant of Allahu Akbar spread over the city, and Ariana watched through the window as the crowd converged towards the mosque.
It's funny, huh? Here we are, having lunch together, knowing nothing about each other. You, for example, only know my name.
You're wrong.
Really? But I haven't told you anything yet.
No need to. I've already made inquiries.
Oh, have you?
Shall I prove it to you then? Let's see. I know you're from Portugal and are considered an expert in cryptanalysis and ancient languages. You teach at New University of Lisbon and also work as a consultant with the Gulbenkian Foundation, where you're reviewing the translations of hieroglyphic inscriptions on Egyptian art and Assyrian bas-relief cuneiform, writing on pieces owned by the Gulbenkian Museum. You came to Cairo to give a talk on the Temple of Karnak and used the opportunity to see about acquiring a piece for the foundation, a King Narmer stela currently being stored in the basement of the Egyptian Museum.
You certainly know a lot. I'm very impressed.
I also know there was a personal tragedy in your life 6 years ago and that you're newly divorced.
Tomas frowned, trying to assess the situation. These last pieces of information were about his private life, and he felt uneasy at the thought that someone had delved into his past.
How can you know all this?
Dear Professor, do you really think I'm one of your easy conquests? No, I'm here on business, and this meal we're sharing is a business lunch. Do you understand?
No, I don't understand.
Think for a moment, Professor. I'm a Muslim woman. Not only that, but as you pointed out not long ago, I'm from the country of Ayatollah, where morals are, as you know, very strict. How many Iranian women do you think would approach a European man on the street and invite him to lunch, just like that?
Well, I have no idea.
No woman would ever do that in Iran, Professor. Ever. If the two of us are sitting here, it's because there's something we need to discuss.
Really?
Professor Noronha, as I said, I know you're here in Cairo for the conference and to see about acquiring an Egyptian antiquity for the Gulbenkian Museum. However, I brought you here to propose another matter. I have here a copy of a page from a manuscript that could be the most important discovery of the century. I'm here on orders from my government to see whether you would like to translate this document for us.
If I understand correctly, you want to hire me?
Precisely.
So you don't have your own translators?
Let's just say this is your specialty.
Ancient languages?
Not exactly.
Cryptology?
Yes.
Which manuscript is it?
Before we go any further, I have to establish one condition.
I'm listening.
Everything we discuss from this point on is confidential. You are not to disclose anything about our conversation to anyone. Do you understand? No one. Even if we are unable to come to an agreement, you never speak of anything I'm about to tell you. Is that clear?
Perfectly.
Are you sure?
Yes, rest assured.
Ariana opened her purse and pulled out an ID card and a sheet of paper, which she showed to Tomas.
This is my employee ID from the Ministry of Science.
You're still as lovely as ever.
And you're always so gallant.
I can't understand anything written on it. It could as well be a fake card made in some local print shop.
In due course, you'll see that this is no trick. This is a letter from the Ministry of Science verifying that the document we'd like you to work on is real.
The Portuguese examined the paper before reading it from beginning to end. The official document, stamped with the Iranian seal and typed in English, stated that Ariana Pakravan was the leader of the task force appointed by the Ministry of Science, Research, and Technology of the Islamic Republic of Iran to decipher and authenticate the manuscript titled Die Gottesformel. At the bottom of the page, there was an illegible signature identified as that of Minister Bozorgmer Shafak, Minister of Science, Research, and Technology, typed underneath. Thomas pointed to the name of the manuscript.
Die Gott what?
Die Gottesformel. It's German.
I understood that it was in the language of Goethe. But what is it?
Ariana pulled out another sheet of paper from her bag, folded in quarters. She unfolded it and handed it to Tomas. On squared paper, in capital letters, above a poem and a signature, was the expression Die Gottesformel.
This is a photocopy of the first page of the manuscript. As you can see, it's the same title Minister Shafak mentions in the document I showed you.
Yes, Die Gottesformel. But what is it?
It's a manuscript written by one of the most important figures of all time.
Ooh, Jesus Christ.
I see you like to joke around.
Come on, tell me who.
Ariana broke off a piece of bread, spread it with hummus, and took a deliberate bite, as if she wanted to accentuate the dramatic intensity of the revelation.
Albert Einstein.
Einstein, you say? Interesting. Is this signature really Einstein's?
Yes.
Is it his handwriting?
Of course, we've already analyzed and confirmed that.
And when was this text published?
It was never published.
What? You're telling me this is an unpublished manuscript?
Yes.
The historian emitted an appreciative murmur. Curiosity now consumed him. He examined the copy once again, the characters of the title, the poem, and the signature. Then his eyes flicked to Ariana's bag, still sitting on the table.
Where's the rest of the manuscript?
In Tehran.
Can you give me a copy to study?
No, this document is highly confidential. You'll have to come to Tehran to study the manuscript. How about we go today?
Hold on, not so fast. First, I'm not sure if I can take on this job. After all, I'm here on duty for the Gulbenkian Foundation. Secondly, I have obligations in Lisbon. I have my classes too.
$100,000. We're prepared to pay you $100,000 per month.
100,000 euros?
Yes, plus all expenses.
For how long?
However long it takes.
What do you mean, a week?
A month or two.
1 or 2 months? I'm not sure if I can.
Why? Do they pay you more at the Gulbenkian or the university, perhaps?
No, it's not that. The problem is that I have commitments. And I can't just dismiss them overnight. You understand?
Professor, 100,000 euros is a lot of money, and we pay 100,000 euros per month plus expenses.
Per month, you say?
Per month. If it lasts 2 months, you'll receive 200,000 euros and so on.
Tomas considered the offer. 100,000 euros per month meant over 3,000 euros per day. In other words, he would earn in one day more than in a month at the university. Why hesitate? The historian smiled and extended his arm on the table.
Deal.
Then we're off to Tehran.
That's not possible. I have to go to Lisbon first to settle some details.
We urgently need your services, Professor. Anyone earning this kind of money can't put other things first.
Listen, I need to go to the Gulbenkian to present a report on my meeting at the Egyptian Museum, and besides, I have an important matter to attend at the university. I have 4 lectures left to finish the semester, and I need to find an assistant to cover them. After that, I will be available to come to Tehran.
So when will that be?
1 week.
Okay. I guess we'll survive until then.
Tomas picked up the photocopy and examined the title again.
How did this manuscript come into your possession?
I'm afraid I can't comment on that. It doesn't concern you.
Fine, but can you at least tell me what topic Einstein addresses in this unpublished work?
Unfortunately, I can't clarify anything in that regard either.
Don't tell me it's confidential.
Of course it is. Everything to do with this project is confidential, don't you understand? In this case, however, I can't say for the simple reason that, as incredible as it might sound, we haven't been able to decipher what it says.
What do you mean? What's the difficulty? You don't have anyone who reads German?
The thing is, some of the document isn't in German.
Oh no?
That's right.
Well?
Listen, what I'm telling you is strictly confidential, you understand?
Yes, you've already told me. Don't worry.
Most of the document is written in German by Einstein himself. However, for reasons that remain unclear, a small portion appears to be ciphered. Our cryptanalysts have gone over and over it, but have been unable to determine the cipher because it's written in a language that's neither German nor English.
Maybe Hebrew?
No, Einstein didn't speak Hebrew well. He learned the basics but was far from fluent. It's why he never studied for his bar mitzvah.
So what language is it?
We have reason to suspect one language in particular.
Which one?
Portuguese.
Portuguese?
Yes.
But did Einstein speak Portuguese?
Of course not. We have reason to believe it was his Portuguese colleague who wrote and ciphered this small portion.
But why?
The reason isn't entirely clear. It may have something to do with how important the text was.
Tomas rubbed his eyes as if trying to take a pause, to buy some time to organize his thoughts and make sense of what he had just heard.
Wait. There's something I don't understand. Is this or is this not an unpublished work by Einstein?
It is.
Is it or is it not written by Einstein?
Almost all of it was written by Einstein, yes. But for some reason that still escapes us, the essential part of the text was written in another language, and then it was ciphered. After analyzing the ciphered portion and taking the history of the manuscript into consideration, our cryptanalysts concluded that, in all likelihood, this section was originally written in Portuguese.
Hence your interest in me.
Yes. If the ciphered text was originally written in Portuguese, then obviously we need a Portuguese cryptanalyst.
The historian once again took the photocopy of the first page of the manuscript and examined it attentively. He scanned the title in uppercase D Gottes Formel and looked at the typed poem below. He placed his finger on the verses and looked at Ariana.
What is this?
It's a poem. Only a bit is written in English, and there's a strange reference just before the line that's ciphered. Everything else is in German. You don't know German, do you?
My dear, I know Portuguese, Spanish, English, French, Latin, Greek, and Coptic. I have an advanced understanding of Hebrew and Aramaic, but sadly, I have not yet mastered German. I know only a little.
Right. That's what I read when I started looking into you.
Tell me, did you research a lot?
Let's just say I became well informed about the person I needed to hire.
The Portuguese man took one last look at the copy, his attention still drawn to the title.
D Gottes Formel, what is it?
The title of the manuscript.
Ha! Thank you. That much I understood. But I don't know this expression in German. What does it mean?
Die Gottesformel?
Yes.
Ariana took her glass, sipped some carcade, and felt the taste of hibiscus leaves sweeten her tongue. She placed her black tea on the table and fixed her gaze on Tomas.
The God formula.
They're all crazy over there, always blowing up bombs and people.
You received a call from Greg Sullivan from the American Embassy.
It's a matter that, well, can't be discussed over the phone. Have you ever heard of the CIA?
We need to talk here. He teaches physics and has been missing for 2 weeks.
He said that I still needed to have a biopsy.
And what did the exam reveal?
Tamar, I'm dying.
If you're enjoying this story, make sure to subscribe and hit the bell icon so you'll be notified as soon as we post the next chapter. Don't forget to like and leave a comment below. I read them all.